Hello everyone, today we are going to begin with our 10th chapter, animal fiber. Now this fibers and fabrics we have earlier discussed in class 6th, so you all have a basic idea about what is fiber and what are fabrics. Okay, so still we'll have an introduction of it, that fibers are basic components of fabrics. They are long thread like structures and they are being obtained from plants or animals, or even some of them are chemically synthesized. So fibers, we know that we use different kind of fabrics for different occasion. Yes, we wear different kind of clothes, and in earlier class we have even seen that there are different sources of fibers, like plant and animals are sources of fibers. Now in this particular class we are only going to talk about the animal fibers which we obtain. Okay, so the first one which we are going to talk is wool. So you here in the slide you can see that there are wool producing animals like Angora goat, yak, camel, alpaca and llama. All these are the animals which are wool yielding animal, we can call it. The fleece of these all animal is used for the purpose of making fabric or cloth. Now in our next slide we will just talk about the characteristics of wool. What are the characters of that? So wool is actually a protein fiber. As we have our hairs, the same way our hairs are also made up of protein known as keratin. The same way wool, which is been extracted from the hairs of animals, that is also a protein fiber. They are composed of amino acids and they are excellent in absorbing something, absorbing of water, dust particle or anything. It is even a good sound absorber. It absorbs the sound, and so it is best suited for even paneling the concert halls which are there, for best acoustics. So for the best sound we can say effect, this is being used as a paneling for the concert halls. Even it regains the moisture. Even they tend to be warmer than any other kind of material, as they are bad conductors of heat. Only natural fiber which also has less tenacity or strength, but it's not so tough, we can say, but it can break easily. They have poor resistance to alkalis but good resistance to acid. Alkalis means what? When we use, now you might have heard about the ads which is being shown that for washing woolen clothes we must not use detergents because they can prove to be harsh or can damage the wool. So we should use other materials which will be easy and which will not affect the quality of the wool. Then they even have good elasticity, that is they can stretch. So these all are the characteristics of wool. Now in the further slide we'll just see what are the composition of wool. Composition means what is the wool made up of. So wool is made up of protein, as we have earlier seen. In fact, all animal fibers are made up of proteins. So wool also contains, along with protein, it also contains fat, calcium and sodium. And the chemical nature of wool influences its texture. How its texture, that depends upon the chemical nature of the wool. So elasticity, then crimp formation. Crimp formation means what? The wavy surface that's been formed of the wool, that is due to its chemical nature. Now in our next slide we'll just see some of the wool yielding animals. Now the fleece of the fleece of sheep is the main source of wool, and wool is also obtained from the hair of animals like yak, goat, camel, alpaca, rabbits, koala and llamas in some of the part of our own country or from some other countries also. So yak wool is commonly found in Himalayan region of Ladakh and Tibet, and Angora wool is being obtained from Angora rabbit. So these all are some of the other animals which also yield wool. Okay, now the next topic which we will see is rearing of sheep. Now what is rearing of sheep? When we see that the sheep are being raised means their growth is being carried out, what all stages of life they go on, that all has been looked after the person who is commercially been practicing rearing of sheep. Okay, so raising them and breeding these all sheep for commercial purpose is called as rearing of sheep. So sheep are reared in mostly Himalayan region and the plains of Punjab and Haryana. So there are different varieties of sheep such as Teeswater, Wensleydale, Lincoln, and merino, etc. Okay, these all are domesticated for obtaining wool from them. So here in your textbook also you have one of a table 10.1, which will give you different Indian breeds of sheep which provides us with wool, and even its uses have been discussed in that. Okay, now how is rearing of sheep being carried out? So these herds of sheep are taken for grazing by the shepherds, and apart from leaves and grasses, they are also fed with pulses, corn, jawar and oil, so that they yield a good quality of wool. So these all factors influence a lot in the quality of the wool. Even the climatic changes over there, the altitude, that is the height, the cold over there, the atmosphere, the surrounding over there, and a special diet influences a lot on the quality of the wool. So wool is being obtained from specialized skin cells called as follicles of sheep, goats, llamas and rabbits. Now the hair of sheep are called as kemp, and the wool obtained from sheep is called as fleece. So the shoulder wool is the longest one and the most expensive ones. You might have seen that there are different qualities of wool being obtained, and it's been used for different purposes also. So as they have been saying that the wool which is present on the shoulder part of the sheep is the most longest one and even the expensive ones. For the fleece being obtained from some other part of the body is not as costly or expensive as compared to the ones present on the shoulder. Now we'll just move on to the next part, that is how is the wool been processed. Now we have seen that the sheep gives us wool and that's been used for making woolen clothes, but how is the process being carried out? So wool processing, the process involved in obtaining wool are shearing, washing, scoring, wool classing, carding and combing, spinning, weaving and knitting. So all these are the different processes through which the wool goes, and then we get the woolen clothes that have been obtained in the shops. So all these processes we are going to discuss one by one in our coming parts. Okay, so this was all about the animals which are being used for wool yielding. We have seen how the ships are being reared, and even now further in our coming part we'll talk about the different processes involved in making woolen clothes.